Hello, everyone, my beautiful people. Welcome to the Sunday Miracle Call. I am so blessed to be part of this hosting of this Sunday Miracle Call, and I welcome each and every one of you from across the globe. Thank you for being part of this love. Thank you for being part of this ancient secret. Thank you for being part of our life. And as you chime in the chat, please write your name, where you're from, and one gratitude that you feel this morning, one gratitude. And I'll read as many as I can. So let's see who is here. And the list goes. Hello, I see Nancy Burns. Hello.
Hello.
Helen G. I'm not seeing where you are from, so I can't see that, but I'm going to read as it comes. But I do want you to chime in chat your name, where you're from, and one gratitude for this morning. Nancy Burns, Helen G. Welcome. Ajit Karani, welcome. Andrea for Humanity, welcome. Arpana, welcome. Brad Fenwick, welcome. Aline, welcome. Arpana, welcome. And I'm still looking for the gratitude. If you can write, my gratitude for the day is I am blessed to be a co-host on this call of Miracle Journey, Chapter 9. And I'm so very grateful being part of this journey. And I am breathing in this love of every one of you. So welcome to Doreen Armani. Welcome to Elio, Emma, Jill, Dorothy, Judy, Emma, there's Marcia. Would you like to raise a hand, someone just speak of one gratitude that you would like to just share what happened this morning in past few days? If you raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself and share one gratitude, you're welcome to do so. In the meantime, Marcia, welcome. Mark L, Mariam, Maureen, Michelle, Mumtaz. That I've invited some of my friends to this call, so I'm welcoming all my friends. So welcome. Mark L, still Michael. Would anyone like to share the gratitude? I would really love to hear from few of you. So you can raise your hands. I'm still looking for the chat, but I'm not seeing any chat gratitude. Oh, there you are. I think I'm missing that chat part.
Mumtaz is saying, I'm so thankful for my family.
Thank you.
Looks like Lucas raised his hand.
Yes, Lucas is raising the hand. Unmute yourself, Lucas.
Hello. I get gratitude. I just went, I live near a lake, and I went on my board and went to the lake and went to watch a couple of loons who just had a baby yesterday. And the baby is the hatched, and I feel so privileged to live near nature. To me, it's a blessing.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Thank you, Luke.
Beautiful. And Dorina is saying that I'm grateful for peace. Eloy is saying that I'm grateful for everybody being here. Would anybody else like to share? You can unmute yourself or raise your hand, please. No one wants to share?
Yes, I do.
Terry.
Marcia, sorry, I just saw.
Yeah.
I'm
Terry.
seeing Marcia Levitt.
Okay.
Marcia, it's Marcia.
Yes.
I am so grateful to be here with everybody on this call. I am part of many organizations, and I have never had this feeling of love the way I do here. And I bring this feeling of love wherever I go. So, oh my God, that's what all I have for now. I can't wait for more things to happen on the call so I can share. So thank you for calling on me, Nina.
You're welcome, honey. You're welcome. Sending you lots of love.
Thank
And
you.
Jeremy, you had something to say. Yes, please go ahead.
Marie?
Yes, thank you. I'm very grateful to be part of this course. I'm doing the 100-day challenge, and I want to agree with the lady before me that being part of this group is really not only learning, but giving and receiving love. And I agree that you feel that what you already have is growing so fast. It's spreading, and everybody wants to receive it. In my work, I really feel that you have extra strength, extra love, and that people mention that they see the difference or see the growth of what you're giving. And my last experience was that when I'm giving, I have a massage and coaching practice, that when you do work, you don't say anything, so you don't give suggestions. And after the treatment, they say, this and that is always happening. But who is the gentleman in the white suit? And then I explained, that must be Dr. Naram. And they said, yes, that's exactly how he looks like. And I experienced so much light during the Marma or whatever treatment you're giving. So I say, well, this is happening, really happening. After the treatment, you don't only say thanks, Jai Gurudev, to all your other teachers, but especially to this lineage. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful sharing. I would like to read this from Bridget. It says that I'm thanking my mom. I'm thankful my mom is still alive. She had a stroke last night and I'm flying out west to see her tomorrow. Please pray for her. Let's send a lot of prayers to Bridget's mom at this time. Lots and lots of prayers to her. May you be well soon and see you soon. Anyone else would like to share? We'll take one more share. Oh, I see that. Yes, Elio. Am I pronouncing right? Elio? And from, yes. Please unmute yourself. Yes.
I'm unmuted. I am grateful for being into this program, and I am on the 28-day class. It's made a tremendous change already in my life. I've been on it for 7 days, lost 7 pounds. But last night I went and I signed up for the new class, the new detox class that starts on August 8th. And I want to advise everybody that class is nothing like the 28 days detox that we're having for the first part. As a matter of fact, I'm going to point to you. You see, this is the thickness of the information that I got. It is extremely detailed. And with every single thing, that you do, it is explained step by step. And my other thing is, that I think, I got half the money that I pay for it, just in this little pamphlet that I got. It's a big pamphlet, it's like 12 different clips over here. So I think, that what we're doing is fantastic. I love everybody. I love being into the room with everybody. And my sense of gratitude to all, because today is Sunday and we are here. God knows what time it's, wherever you are on the face of the planet, but we are together and we stick together. And it makes a huge difference to all of us, because what one gives out is important to somebody.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I don't know. Everybody else said it, and it didn't make a difference to me. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. All of a sudden, one of us says it, and you like, man, I think that is important. What I'm going to do that, or something that is affecting you directly.
Yeah.
So that makes a huge difference, practically out of nowhere.
Ellie, I'm
You
so
know?
grateful for you. So grateful for you. So grateful for your love and your participation. You're such a bright light here. Thank you so much for sharing. I just wanted to announce that Gary Malcolm is here. I'm so excited that Gary is on the call. So
Yes.
Gary, would you like to unmute and say hello?
Hi, everybody. It's so great. I'm here in Rancho La Puerta in Tecate, Mexico, and I'm so happy to be with you all. And I'm just really aware of what Denny is going through right now, and sending all kinds of love and blessings to her. And just here to share at some point today. I'm just sending my love to all of you.
Welcome, Gary. It's so good to hear from you always. And at this point, I would like to introduce my co-host, Nick. Hello, Nick. Good morning. And I would like to hear one gratitude from you. And the floor is yours from there.
All right, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm just grateful that we can talk today about Chapter 9. I've had an incredible experience, and I'm really excited to share that with everybody. And I'm also grateful to see Gary here. I just have always enjoyed
Good to see you, Nick.
always enjoyed Gary's presence, and just he's such an incredible person. So looking forward to hearing what he has for us today. So one other thing, just as far as the announcements goes, sort of what Elio was talking about, we have the Moon Detox coming up. There's another 28-day detox where people can do that together, and it's going to be starting on August 8th, and the last day to sign up is on July 25th. And so I believe Cornelia will be able to put the link in the chat. So if you're interested in signing up for that, I've done Moon Detox myself, and I'll tell you later how many pounds I've lost, but it's pretty incredible. So if you're interested in that, then you can look in the chat and stuff like that. It looks like Esther Francis just said I look like I've shed about 20 years. And yeah, I think that not only losing pounds, but I'm shedding some years, getting younger, as Judy Lamar says. I'm gaining some youthfulness here too. So
Yes. Nick, you're looking like a teenager. Cornelia, I'm just wondering, Gary made a request to see if we could switch the songs so that his could be in the early part of the call, which would be coming up very soon here. And is that possible?
Of course, yes.
Okay, that would be great. Gary, are you still here?
I am. I'm just trying to figure out quickly what it is I'd share, but I think I could find, I have a lovely spoken word and music piece that I think might be appropriate to drop into our hearts. But if you give me just 5 minutes and I can pull it together, then I'd be happy to share it.
Okay, great.
I would just like to say something. Andrea just put a link into the chat box for the 20 days, but there's actually a new one. So if you please use the one that I just put in the chat box, which ends with the Helltime Detox at the end, use that one. That will bring you to the website where they have now all the information and where you can sign up for it. Okay, so that it's right there. And just
Thank
to
you,
not
Cornelia.
confuse you, that there are different links. So that is the one with the new one.
Thank you, Cornelia. And for those of you who don't know Cornelia, she is our tech wizard angel person in the background who's keeping all the parts moving in a beautiful way. Okay. And Nick, were there any other announcements Did you mention the audiobook?
Oh, that's another good one. So we have the audiobook that has come out recently. So if you go to like Audible, you can download, and it has Dr. Clint reading the book. And today we're going to be focusing on chapter 9, which is the chapter dealing with Marma Shakti, and really focusing on what is it that we want, trying to get a good understanding of what that is. And so if you want to hear Dr. Clint telling us about these things, then you can download the book, and you can have him actually just start reading the book to you. Pretty amazing.
It's wonderful for long drives and for doing your exercise workouts and other times when the space might be just left empty and you could be putting all this wonderful information into your subconscious.
Listen to it when I'm cooking my mung bean soup.
There you go. That's a really good idea, Jane. I hadn't heard that.
I also want to mention that 28 days detox is if you want to just unload your physical, emotional, whatever that baggage is, it comes with a lot of support. We have doctors from India, we have Vaidyas from India who are going to be on your side to actually hold your hand and carry you across on the other end. So losing your weight is just one benefit, but losing a lot of your emotions and the other things that comes across, you're going to feel 50 pounds lighter than you actually think. So just wanted to mention that we have Vaidyas and doctors in Ayush Shakti and all this support is part of this detox plan. So just wanted to put out there that you are not left alone just to make mung bean soup and there you go, but it's a lot of support physically, mentally, and however you need. And there's a WhatsApp group and the Facebook group, which is going to stand by you. And all these beautiful souls on the same journey, when you walk together, your journey becomes very easy. I've done so, and I'm just sharing my first perspective.
So Gary, are you ready by chance? Awesome. Do you want to go ahead and unmute?
Yeah. So, many of you might know that I created a work 20 years ago with Michael and Doris Stillwater called Graceful Passages. And I never dreamed that by focusing on life's impermanence, I would have more radical gratitude for life itself than ever before. And I'm just really present with, I haven't really heard yet how much people are aware of Denny and what she's going through. Has that been addressed yet, Jana?
It has not, but this would be a perfect time to be able to do so.
Yeah. So for those of you who have been a part of the call to see the incredible role that Denny and Jill have been playing and blessing us with their love, what I hear from Claire, Denny's daughter, is that Denny is going through her final transition and it's not easy for her. So in the spirit of that, and also because when we celebrate the life that we want to live by committing ourselves, by the way, I don't know if you notice, I'm about 18 pounds down. I have 20 more to go, but I'm deeply engaged in the whole process, and I'm about to start a whole new round when I come back from Mexico with Ayush Shakti support and the Mung Bean Challenge. So I'm right there with you, and I don't know if you notice, but I'm feeling pretty alive and good, so that's great. But what I want to do is all of us put our joint loving energy in blessing Denny. And I can only imagine, because she's in England, I don't really know her spiritual beliefs, but I'm going to pick the Episcopal, the Anglican message from Graceful Passages. And when the music alone comes on, I just want all of us to bring our combined loving energy and focusing on the smoothest, most loving, most grace-filled transition for Denny, who has blessed our community. I got the chills just talking about it. She's just been an angel in our lives, that cherub face, she and Jill sitting there looking at us. It's been so priceless, and we've been so blessed to have her in our community. So I'm going to play this track, and I like to call music entertainment, not entertainment, right? This is an invitation to come inside and allow the sacred sculpted vibrations of music to allow ourselves to come into alignment with body, heart, mind, and soul in ways that can only support the Ancient Secrets work that Dr. Clint has brought forward with Dr. Naram's amazing guidance. So please allow this to be a sacred blessing time as we hold together space for Denny's transition. And I'm going to share, I think, let's see if, I need you to let me share, please.
Yeah. And then, Gary, would it be okay if we did spotlight on the people in the community?
Yeah, because what I wanted, in this case, I would like you to do it this way, Jana, when the words stop. So when the speaking stops, there's a long section where, a lovely section where it's instrumental. That's when we can actually use our loving presence to use our faces to bless each other and Denny in this holy time. So yeah, that would be, when the words are speaking, let that be an induction period. But when the music is happening, and I can text you, you'll know when it is, just to let the spotlighting will be a beautiful way to bless one another, okay? So is everybody kind of undistracted, things off your, like just really present? Let's take a deep breath together as we embrace this music as a sacred honoring for Denny and for her whole family.
And would like to invite everybody to take their devices, put their videos on, is what I was meaning to say, so that they can see your faces and they can see the love and appreciation that we have for both these beautiful ladies.
Yeah, and if you feel comfortable with that, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable, please just turn your video off. But if you do, it would be a blessing for all of us to use our countenance, our presence, our love to bless one another and the community. So that's a really great thing. Okay, I'm going to play this. It's a track from a very beautiful Anglican priest from San Francisco named Alan Jones. And here we go. Thank you for the opportunity to share this. All right, here we go.
In my tradition, we try to practice dying every day so that we may be fully alive. What I understand of my prayer life is to place myself on the threshold of death, to participate in my dying. So that I may live each day and each moment as a gift. What I cultivate is a grateful heart. Each moment then becomes a new thing. My gratitude comes from the sheer gift of life itself. Who you are cannot be contained in what's happening to you just now. You are part of a love story. You are desired and longed for. There are thousands of witnesses before you who would claim that you are held in the arms of love. And I'd like to leave you with the prayer that one of the Franciscans left with me. Oh my God, you are here. Oh my God, I am here. Oh my God, we are here. And always, always, always you love us. Always, always you love us. May the angels of God watch over you. May Mary and all the saints pray for you. And all those whose lives you touch, this moment and forevermore. Amen.
So let's hold this prayer together. May Danny have a smooth transition. May she know that she is loved. And we are so blessed to have her touch our lives, have touched our lives. And I'm so touched by this community and the beauty that you all share with your generous hearts. And what a gorgeous community within which we can honor what matters most together. And when one of our beloveds passes into this next dimension, it just is an incredible opportunity for us to feel the gratitude that we have to bless each other with our love and our presence. Thank you for allowing me to share that. I'll put in the chat how you could get that track. It's from Graceful Passages, a companion for living and dying, and you can download it on my website. But most importantly, God, I just feel so touched and grateful, and blessings to all.
Gary, thank you. Thank you so much. I also just want to let everybody know that we are trying to prepare a way to do some pre-sales of the book that we're putting together for Denny, or that Denny is writing. And that the pre-sales will go towards assisting the family with their medical costs. So a link will be sent out in a couple of days, and just really, if your heart moves you to pre-purchase the book, it would just be such a blessing to the family. So thank you. Thank you, Gary. Nina?
This was a beautiful piece. Gary, you always touch my heart. Always, always, always. Your music is just mesmerizing every time. Nick, are you there? Because I think we are going to start with Teresa's video, if it's ready. Nick?
It's ready.
I think we should.
Okay. Cornelia, could we maybe share Miriam's first before we share this? Okay, perfect.
Okay, as you all know, Miriam has done a wonderful job every single week to put each chapter into a video and sharing some of the quotes and her presence and her voice with us. And so we are going now to share that for chapter 9. And just open that one up in the background. And that came a little bit as a surprise now. But we will be there in a second. Okay. Let's open now. Sorry for the delay.
The wonderful chance to breathe.
Yes, Gary, so true.
It's all perfect. Everybody's fine.
Yep. So here we go.
Namaskar, friends and families joining from all around the world. The divinity, that spark of light in me, loves, 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 and bows down to the divinity, that spark of light within you. So let's explore chapter 9 of the Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. This chapter is all about blocks and breakthroughs. Maya Angelou said, love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope. As we dive into this chapter, I would like you to reflect on this question, this important, powerful question that Dr. Naram asks. What do you want? Here are the highlights of chapter 9. So this chapter is predominantly about Mama Shakti, which are subtle energy points. So we discover the history of Mama Shakti how it was used according to the Mahabharata, an epic Sanskrit poem of ancient India. We learn the Mama Shakti for flexible joints. We learn about the magical benefits of cow's ghee. Dr. Naram tells the story of his mother and how she regains her ability to walk so that she can travel to the Himalayas. We learn of Teresa and her experience with Mama Shakti. We also learn the Mama Shakti for how to achieve what you want and the Mama Shakti for great sleep. This chapter takes us to Los Angeles, California, and Dr. Naram is holding a Mama Shakti session, and it's just after midnight, and he's full of energy, and he is asking if everybody knows what Mama Shakti is. So he says, okay, so what is Mama? It's an ancient technology for deeper transformation, working on all levels of body, mind, emotions, and spirit. Dr. Naram explains we could read more about this approach to healing in the Mahabharata, one of the major epic Sanskrit texts of ancient India. According to the record, there was a big war that was nothing like modern conflicts. This war had rules. It started and ended at a certain time of day, while the dharma or duty of the soldier was to fight. The duty of healers of Dr. Naram's lineage was to heal. Dr. Naram explained the healers of his lineage were not concerned with whether the soldier was a good soldier or a bad soldier. They would help people no matter who they were, regardless of what side they fought on. Dr. Naram says the healers of my lineage had no enemies, just like we have no religion. Our religion is simply helping humanity. Wow, how powerful is that? He further explains the healing instrument of Mama can help anyone with chronic and acute challenges like back pain, stiffness, neck pain, frozen shoulder, pinched nerves, sciatica, ankle pain, knee pain, or even the inability to walk. Dr. Naram said, believe it or not, in a couple of minutes, Mama touches the subtle energy points and begins to release the block. You start to see results and feel less or no pain. So someone asks, how does this work? And Dr. Naram says, good question. Now, knowingly or unknowingly, we are all programmed. Our subconscious has been programmed by our parents, how to think, how to talk, what to do. We are also programmed by school, by our society, by newspapers, and now by internets. He explains Mama is a technology that helps us reprogram ourselves to align our lives with our truest purpose. Not only can the pain go away, but you can achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So Dr. Naram says, let me share with you a powerful secret Baba Ram Das taught me. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your questions. Most of us ask the wrong questions. So I bring you back to that question at the beginning of this presentation. What do you want? Dr. Naram shares that Baba Ram Das taught him that powerful questions focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So Dr. Naram tells the story of his mother, and he says, my mother couldn't walk. She had arthritis, osteoporosis, and degeneration of joints. Since she couldn't walk, she'd have to use the toilet, bathroom while in bed. And on the left, you can see Dr. Naram with his beloved mother. Dr. Naram says, I decided to use the ancient methods for her. Dr. Naram continued, I decided if I could not even help my own mother with them, what good were they? So I pressed the point on my mother's finger and asked, Mommy, what do you want? And as you can see in this picture above, this is the Mama Shakti point for what you want. And his mother said, I don't want pain. And this is very important. Dr. Naram shares one secret is to focus on a positive picture of what you do want instead of a negative one of what you don't want. When Dr. Naram pressed the Mama point again on his mother's finger and reframed the question, Mummy, if you knew there was no pain, what would you do? She said, I would walk. During the course, so he pressed another Mama point further down on her finger and asked, if you knew you could walk again, where would you like to go? She replied, I would like to go to the Himalayas. During the course of several years, Dr. Naram's mother took certain herbs, changed her diet, and pressed Mama points regularly while visualizing her dream to walk to the Himalayas. Then one day, after years of their working together with discipline on her deeper healing plan, Dr. Naram got a phone call from her. Pankaj, I did it. I'm here in the Himalayas. I'm really here. And Dr. Naram explains, although bedridden when she was 67, now at 82 years old, she was hiking the Himalayas. While others rode horses or were carried on balkis by strong men, she walked. And someone called out, what kind of a cheap son do you have that gives you no money for a horse to ride, poor old woman? And she says, no, my son can buy me a horse, but I choose to walk. He is a great son because he gave me the gift of walking. And Dr. Naram says, she told me, I bless you, Pankaj. Share these ancient secrets with everyone so that you may help others like me. So again, I bring you back to that question, that powerful, life-changing question. What do you want? When you have that, what will you do? And what other insights, questions, or realizations came to you as you read this chapter? Thank you, everyone, for again giving me this incredible opportunity to share these ancient secrets and highlights with you. I thank my teachers. I thank the Siddhaveda lineage. I thank my family. And of course, I thank you. I love you and I'm with you. Namaskar, namaskar, namaskar.
This is one of the most beautiful and powerful of all, because once we receive the answer of what do I want, it just simply resolves everything. And Mariam, so nice to see you. Lots and lots of love. I am with you and I love you, girl. Beautiful. So Cornelia, are we ready for our next video?
If that is Teresa, then it should be Jana who is
Yes,
sharing.
I've got, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jana.
Dr. Clint G. Rogers here, and as a special treat for finishing this chapter, chapter 9, which was so amazing when I saw what was happening. So hard for my brain to make sense of these things that I was witnessing. I couldn't deny that this was happening, but it was so hard to make sense of, and I'm so happy to share with you. As a special treat for finishing this chapter, I want to introduce you to Vern and Teresa. In this video that I captured, you'll get a chance to really get a feel for who they are and what happened in their life as a result of participating in this Marma Shakti experience.
My name's Teresa Sexsmith. I'm from Red Deer, Alberta. I met Dr. Naram 6 years ago down in California when I went down for a health and wellness conference. My husband was very struck by what Dr. Naram had to say up on stage. And when they were taking impromptu appointments, really, and the only time they could fit me in, was about 2 in the morning. That's how backed up they were. and it was amazing. I never had slept so well.
You did the Marma.
After the Marma, yeah. And so that the next day I went down and we talked to them about what herbs and vitamins I needed. And we started on the regime, and they asked me to do the mung bean diet for just a month. Well, my arthritis and my psoriasis were out of control. I had very little relief from the pain despite all of the anti-inflammatories the doctors were giving me. All of these new treatments, all of this and that, and it wasn't working. By the time I was done my shower and my breakfast, I might start to feel human. And that's only after my pills kicked in. And I didn't use my knees because it hurt too much. And it was because if I bent my knees, then my toes bent and my whole leg started to ache. And with the change in diet, with these new vitamins, within a month, my friends noticed an amazing difference in me. Some people hadn't seen me for like 2 weeks, and I came back to work after. And they're like, where did you go? Because I had lost a bunch of weight, for one. For two, I was outpacing my client, and he's 6 foot tall. The difference was instant, and it's continued. I continue to feel better all the time. I'm no longer on anti-inflammatories. I don't have to take a stomach protector. I'm 100% different. I sleep better. I've got more energy. I couldn't imagine going and raising my 13-year-old nephew without this kind of support. Start small, but be consistent. Know something that you're able to do. Just little sustainable, consistent changes. Don't stay stuck in a rut. Always look for something to tweak. It sounds crazy, but it works. I know that growing up in North America, we are taught a completely different mindset from what he is trying to prove to us. And you have to look at what works for your body. And if the changes that you're making don't feel good after a few weeks, then tweak it. But it may look overwhelming to change it all at once, but if you look at it one step at a time, it's very doable. Dr. Naram, I can't even imagine my life without you. You have given me hope. You've given me the light at the end of the tunnel. And I can't express how grateful I am to have found you and to have your support at all. This is amazing. Thank you.
And that's amazing, huh? How much someone's life can change from these powerful ancient healing secrets. And now for fun, I want to share with you some examples of how this ancient healing science of Siddha Veda, of Marma Shakti, can help people overcome frozen shoulder problems. You're going to love seeing this. You'll see it happen. And I've seen it happen, and I've actually learned how to do it myself, how to help others. So it's very powerful, and I just want to share this with you now.
So this is a powerful technology of transformation, of programming and reprogramming your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and superconscious mind. Mm-hmm. So at that time, my mother was not able to walk, toilet, bathroom, on the bed. All the doctors wanted to do knee replacement, hip replacement, all those things. So I told my master, if I can't help my mother, I can't help anybody. My confidence won't be there. So my master gave me some marma, which I started practicing on my mother. So we start with you all. So you please take your right hand, and you press this marma here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I asked my mother, Mummy, what do you want? My mother is not able to walk. So my mother says, I would like to walk. What she said, I would like to walk. Now like you have to say, I would like to put my hand up. I want to become flexible. I have a you have, from 1 year, she has got frozen shoulder. Okay? So we'll work on that. So when
Powerful. So powerful.
I would just like to share that this is from The Ancient Secret. And if you go on page 140, this beautiful lady that we saw is Teresa. And Dr. Clint has captured really beautifully her story in this book. If you haven't got a chance to read it because, I mean, it really opens our eye, even in this skeptic mind, about all this Marma Shakti and the magic. I call it magic because I've sensed it. So for me, it's a magical Marma Shakti that actually helps become who we want to be and helps us take a next step. So this is a beautiful chapter.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Jana, for bringing forward that video that you were the only one who could locate it. Thank you for doing that. And so we have some wonderful sharings from starting with Nick today about his own journey. Nick, are you there?
Yeah. So first off, I just wanted to go back to that video that Jana shared with us. That's actually one of the bonus videos that are on YouTube. And so with the book, as you go to the website, myancientsecrets.com, and sign up, after you've read the book, it's free to sign up. They have these links and there are bonus videos for each chapter. And I've gone through and watched those, and I thought it was incredible. As I was rewatching that video last night, and I noticed it looked like it only had 60 views on it. So if everyone here watched it, it would, more than double. But I found watching those videos really adds to the understanding and puts a lot of written in the book in context, or just gives you a better idea of how to understand what's being said. And Dr. Clint really wraps up and gives us that bonus stuff in just powerful ways. So I just wanted to sort of put that out there as well to start with. And then I had my own healing experience with this Marma Shakti. And just a little background on me, I had hurt my back 3 years previous, and I blew out the lowest disc in my back, and it was pinching 3 different nerve levels, giving me constant pain and making it so that the muscles in my left leg were not fully functional. So instead of walking around like normal, I ended up walking, like I say, like a sort of like a peg leg pirate, because my quads weren't strong enough, so I had to have my knee locked, and my foot muscles weren't strong enough to balance me, so I had to be just on my heel like it was a peg leg or something. And I first met Dr. Clint in December of 2020. We were at a seminar. He was explaining how these ancient secrets can help people. And he was talking about some of those other keys that Miriam had mentioned in her review. You know, we have these different things that are useful to anybody. Anyone can utilize these, and they're in the book. You can change our diet. You know, we've talked about doing the Hmong detox. So changing our diet, there's the herbal supplementations that are very gentle and help your body in a deeper way. There's doing these Marma points, which, as it was already talked about, they unblock certain energy in our body, and they work in subtle ways to help us become who we want to become. There's lifestyle changes, panchakarma, and home remedies. Sometimes we do things like just take ghee every morning to help our bodies function a little better, or there's different home remedies that are listed in the book that we can take. And Dr. Clint was talking about this. He mentioned one of the people who was there had been doing the Hmong detox and had a reduction in the pain that she had experienced in her knees. So he was talking about how, hey, these ancient secrets can help anybody. And then they said, well, can't you do one of these incredible Marma Shaktis for someone? And he said, yeah, I guess I will. So he looked around the room. He said, who has pain? And, you know, everyone raises their hand. Everyone's like, yeah, I've got pain. And he says, okay, who's got like 8 out of 10 or higher pain? And a couple of us raised our hands, and he looked across the room and he saw me, and he said, Nick, I think you need to be the one to come up here. So he brings me up to the front. He walks me through, you know, this, what do you want kind of a thing. I think that it's so important to really understand what you want, and to be able to be very clear with your question, and to have like a really strong intention. That seems to be a real key to it to me. So he walked me through that. He does this Marma Shakti, and, you know, I stand up and I'm like, okay, maybe my pain's down a little bit. I was like, all right, that was cool, you know, but maybe that was, you know, it's cool. I wasn't real super excited at that point. And he says, okay, let's see if you can bend down and touch the ground, touch your toes. And I was able to bend further than I did previous. And once again, I said, okay, that was pretty cool. I mean, he just like touched my back. Like in the book, it talks about like he's, you know, touching a keyboard or something. And that's what it was like. And I thought, okay, that was cool. And then he's like, okay, go walk, you know, take 6 steps. And I walked, and I was still limping, because in my brain, that's how I walked. And he said, no, try and walk normal. And so I did it again. And as I walked normal, I was really surprised. And he said, you know, things can even get better. So after a couple minutes, I was talking to someone, I realized, I said, you know, I used to be able to lift my body with my toes on my left foot, and I haven't been able to do that for years. And I thought about it, and then I did it. And I was so ecstatic. And that he brought everyone back over. He said, look, things can just continue to get better. And in this, it says these Marma points can help release that energy so that it can change over time. And so after that, I started eating the Hmong soup. His mom made a batch that was just incredible. I could tell it was made with love and healing in it. And so I ate that. And then we had another healing experience where he said, you know, let's do another one of these Marma Shaktis for you and see if you can start, you know, get better. And as we went through, he said, do you think you can run? And so I want to share a video of when that second Marma happened. So I've got this on my phone, and I'm going to switch over there, and I'll share this in just a second here.
Nick, is there sound to the video?
All right. Well, I guess I wasn't able to share that video. That was one of the complications here. I shared pictures before. I thought I could shoot video, but it said not going to happen. So that's fine. I can just explain, what happened. One of the things that Dr. Clint, as he did this, he said, yeah, do you want to run? And I said, I've had dreams where I could run, and I get upset because I think, why doesn't my subconscious understand, like, I can't run, like my leg doesn't work, like there's no possible physical way for me to run. And Dr. Clint said, well, let's see. So as he does this next marma, I start running around the room. I literally was able to run. My left leg was strong enough I could jump. I went running down this hall, which, not a real far distance, but I thought, I'm really going to push it and see how fast I can run. And as I did that, I could feel that my muscles were working, but I thought, it's been years since I've done this. I'm probably going to fall down because I won't be coordinated enough. But I tried, and I just ran, and it was like my body just remembered exactly how to make everything work. So it was just this incredible experience. I ran down a hall and back, and I was just completely winded. And he's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I'm winded. I haven't exercised. I haven't pushed my body this hard, like literally running like 30 feet or something and up and down one flight of stairs. I hadn't pushed my body that hard in years. And so it was just so difficult to, on my body. It was like I couldn't even breathe. But it was just incredible. And at the end of the video, he was really excited. I mean, he said, you have very powerful dreams. Look at your dreams. You dreamed that you could run, and now you're running. And I did. And then he just said, look at him now. Just imagine where he's going to be in 6 months. And it's been 7 months. And, this is one of the points that I wanted to make, is that Dr. Naram went to his mother and wanted to help her. And as we saw in that video, he talked about it, and Miriam mentioned it's from that chapter. She had been bedridden. She hadn't been able to get out of bed, and she couldn't walk. And, she had all these specialists that were saying, hey, you need to get, replacement surgeries and do all this stuff, medications and whatnot. But she wanted to walk. And so Dr. Naram said, what do you want? And initially she said, I don't want to be in pain. And he said, no, we can't have this, you can't want a negative, you want to want a positive kind of a thing. And so if you could walk, if you didn't have pain, what would you do? And she said, I would want to walk. And he said, where would you want to go? She said, the Himalayas. So later she called him from the Himalayas, and she said that from being bedridden at 67, she was now walking in the Himalayas at 82. So the thing that I took away from that is that this is not always just an instant kind of a thing. There are things that can be instantaneously fixed. But in this case, it took his mother 15 years of dedication, of changing her diet, of doing the herbal supplements, of doing the Marma points, and of changing what she wanted and really focusing on that. It took 15 years for her to get to where she wanted to be. And for me, it's been 7 months now. And physically, I've had a lot of healing, but I'm not where I want to be. And it's been a really painful process. I think that initial block that Dr. Clint was able to help remove for me made it so that I could start moving again. But I still had an incredible amount of pain constantly in my leg and in my back. And I still have that. It's been reducing slowly as I've done these things. And as I've gone through the Hmong detox, and as I've taken the herbal supplements, and as I've tried to change, how I view the world, as I've tried to do this reprogramming of myself. And I really have confidence that if I follow these ancient secrets, as I really try to reprogram myself and make these changes, that I will be able to fully heal, and I'll have like a full recovery. And so one other thing that Dr. Clint had mentioned is he said, yeah, it looks like Nick's going through like a rebirth. Sometimes it's not pretty, sometimes it's not pleasant, but something new can be created. And I see Judy Lamar is on on the call, and she's talked about how she feels like she's in a renaissance, having, you know, learned about these ancient secrets and applying them to her life. And I feel like I'm in the middle of a rebirth. So part of that is I have lost a lot of weight, and it was never my goal to lose weight. I thought, oh, I could probably lose weight. And I think when everything first started happening, I was about 240 pounds. Now I'm in the 160s. So I've lost over 70 pounds in about 6 or 7 months. And like I said, that was never my primary goal. I wasn't doing a diet where I was like not eating as much as I wanted or being hungry. I would just eat what I felt comfortable eating. And I did that Hmong detox for a month, and then I really stayed on it for another 2.5 months. So I did 3.5 months pretty consistently of eating the Hmong detox, and I still, eat it. It's not like I've cut it out of my diet, but I've moved on to other things, but I've still really tried to stay away from any processed sugars, dairy, and wheat or gluten, which are those main 3 things which I feel like I need to be careful about. But I think by doing that, by taking the detox herbs that I had from Dr. Naram, and then by just making these lifestyle changes where I'm trying to reprogram my brain and I'm trying to improve how I view the world and have more of a positive outlook on things. And as I try and change my questions, like I've seen just huge improvements. But I just want to once again say, I'm not there. I'm not, I may look happier and I may look more youthful, but, give me another year and then we'll see where I'm at then. So.
Nick, what percentage of overall improvement would you suspect you have experienced?
It's so hard to say. I think it's hard to say like a percentage. I feel like every aspect of my life, physically, I feel like I'm getting younger. I physically can use my leg and do things again that I couldn't do before. But, I'm not at a point where I'm just ready to get out and just do anything. But it's just the fact that I can walk normally and stuff is a huge difference. I think mentally, I was in so much pain at that point when I met Dr. Clint that I couldn't even read a book. Things would just jumble around in my head. And I really was having a hard time even I hadn't read the book. It took me a couple months after that before I could even read the book and really feel like I was comprehending what was going on. And now I could read it and go, oh, these are key points. I like this. So mentally I've gotten back to a lot better place. Emotionally, I was so depressed. I felt like there was, I had no answers for anything. And spiritually, I think has probably been one of the biggest shifts. Like I've really seen that, my life sort of broke down and got really hard a number of years ago. And somehow I just feel like this was God's plan for me. And meeting Dr. Clint and having this incredible experience and learning about these ancient secrets, I can see that this is the path that God has put me on. And I can see his hand in blessing me and guiding me and the people that he's brought into my life to help me. And so my spiritual connection has been a huge dramatic increase. Percentage wise, if you're close to 0 and now you're at, a lot more, what's the percent? I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah. I mean, 100 times more than I was before that, maybe more than that. I don't know. So
yeah, you mentioned at one point that you were using the forgive and forget marma, and Dr. Naram says somewhere in the book that about 90-something% of our physical situation has to do with our unconscious emotional settings. And that's my favorite marma point, is the forgive and forget. It's been amazing in terms of reviewing my past and what I want to move past and let go of.
Could you show that, Jerem?
Yeah, sure. So the forgive and forget, I'm not sure if you can see this on the screen, but so on your left hand, you're taking your thumb and placing it in the crook of where those index finger and thumb origins meet, and then your index finger on the top, and you're basically pressing down on that point where the two bones meet on the top of your hand and stabilizing it with your thumb underneath. And so as with all marmors, you're going to go 6 times 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Holding the intention, whoever or whatever. For me, it was a lot of forgiving myself, also forgiving other people. And it was stunning, the results, is all I can tell you. It's so simple that it's kind of takes a moment to realize how powerful it is. And when we do that on a regular basis, to me, it just felt life-changing.
Yeah, I think the forgive and forget has been a big one for me. Another is just sort of knowing what you want. And that was one that I really had a hard time with. When I met Dr. Clint, I was in just the worst state. You know, I had hit rock bottom, and if you had said, what do you want? I would have said, nothing, like literally nothing. But then as I went through that seminar before I ended up talking to him, I started to get a little hope that maybe some healing could happen. And I think that's the thing, you know, I think consciously, and Dr. Naram talked about this in this chapter, he talked about we have our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, sort of our heart, and then we have a superconscious mind, like our higher self. And he said that these marmas can help us to where we can reprogram our conscious mind so that we can think things, you know, in a more positive, view things in a more positive light. And then as we can transfer that to our subconscious mind, then we can, you know, really get some traction. And once we transfer that to our superconscious mind, that's when we start to see these miracles start happening. And for me, I almost think that it was like my superconscious mind was like, hey, you need some healing, because like I said, my mind was not working at the time. Like it was just not really functional. And so, you know, knowing what I wanted was something that I was struggling with. And I have it as like, I want to heal, but besides that, I'm, you know, floundering a little bit. And maybe that's part of why I've been struggling for so long. But I really believe that somehow, you know, deep inside or super conscious or something, like I just had that belief and that hope that I could heal. And so meeting Dr. Clint and starting with this Marma Shakti, where it unlocked one of these blocks that I had, this physical block. And it opened me up to realizing that I had a lot of deeper blocks, like you said, Jerem, that in the book, it talks about how a huge percent of our physical problems come from unresolved childhood traumas or issues. And so I had a lot of deeper healing that needed to happen. I didn't even know was there, but I started to see some of this childhood trauma I had, and I've been dealing with that. And it's been a painful process. And I'm just hoping that I'm up to the challenge and that I can keep going and push through. And I really feel like a lot of it is just being able to let go, just to be able to say, hey, I can let go of this. In fact, this last week, I had this incredible experience where there's something I'd been holding on to for 23 years, something where I felt like I made a mistake. And as I was thinking and praying about it, it sort of just came to me that, you know, I'd read a scripture that sort of came to mind, and it just helped me understand that, you know, it was okay that when I was a young guy, like I made a mistake, and I can like let go of that. And I literally felt a physical release from my body. Just being like, oh, I can let go of that burden I've been carrying around for this long. So, you know, if I can do that, then, you know, more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's so useful and wonderful, and holding on to all those old cringe moments does no one any good. When we can release them, it's a big relief from burden.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, I can't show my face. I can't open the video. I wanted to ask Nick, on those really, really low days, who was around you and supporting you, and how did they get through this with you, or were you alone?
That's a good question. When things got really low, everywhere I went, I just didn't receive the help that I needed. But when it was time for me to start healing, then, and there were people that were there for me, but I don't think I was in a place where I could really accept that help. But I think when I had made that shift to where deep down I wanted to make changes and heal, when it was time, then there were people that were there for me. My family, my mom has been a huge support to me. My other family, friends, and I've met people, along this path that have just popped into my life, like Dr. Clint and others who have been there to really help me out. And so, at some of the lowest times, I've been alone. And I think part of it for me is just having to come to an understanding that really what's the most important thing here for me is just between me and God. Like if I can understand that God is there for me, I don't need the other people, but obviously God works through other people, and those other people have been a support. But I think just understanding that I need to focus on me and not rely on those other people as much has been a big thing for me. I'm not sure if that helps or not, Sheila.
Yeah, I'm in the reverse situation. I'm the mum, and I can have some really bad days where I express my feelings, and I feel like I'm not really supposed to, and that sort of has a knock-on effect on everybody else. And so I was just wondering if you had some advice for the carers.
Yeah.
It's a bit selfish of me, but I just feel like I'm at that point now that
no, you're in such a
tried so
difficult
many
position.
things, and if the person doesn't want to cooperate, then it hurts a lot.
Yeah. And I can understand your position. I remember you from the call before, a month or two back. The thought that comes to mind is the very first quote in the book, where it says, "I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you." And this is something that for me has been really key. It's something I just keep coming back to, is that a lot of times we want to help people. I mean, obviously we want to help people, but we want to help them in our limited capacity, our limited way. And a lot of times I think instead of trying to tell them what to do or trying to explain something or teach them something, sometimes it's best just to sit back and to really focus in on the love that we have for them. And then let love, which would be a higher power, the universe, God, let that love come in and let that teach them and help them. And when it's time, then when they're open to it, then that can happen. And so for me, like I said, there were a lot of people that wanted to help me, and I just wasn't in a place where I think I could be helped. I had to really hit that rock bottom for me. And since then it's been hard, it's been a struggle, but there have been people who have been there. And a lot of times it's just that they have that acceptance and love, which has been sort of the most thing. And a lot of times it's just being able to feel safe with someone. If I open up to someone and I feel like they're giving me resistance or telling me how I did something wrong, it's too much for me. I can't handle that. But if I can open up and someone says, "Oh, I understand, I love you, that's really hard," then that makes me feel safer and like I can trust them and I can move forward.
So important.
Nick, hi Nick. I really appreciate you sharing everything, but what if that loved one is taking advantage of your love? They know you love them, you've done everything for them. I've been waiting for years for them to improve.
Mhm.
I'm even nudging that person into doing the marmas and everything,
Andrea, I love this question because, I get feeling that way too. And what I really realize is that we just have to surrender it. If we have an expectation of them changing, it's more, if we go back to that saying, I just came here to love you, I'm not here to teach you, and I know that if they're taking advantage of your love, love sometimes has boundaries, and you can set a new boundary. To what Sheila was talking about earlier too, in the Mother's Day call, Dr. Shmita was talking about a story of somebody who had an enemy and they wanted to bring love to them. They wanted to mend the situation. I don't remember the story specifically, but she said, imagine that person in front of you and just communicate to them, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And this person did that exercise, and within a matter of a short time, things in that relationship shifted. I have really taken this to heart, and I have been doing this, and I have seen some miraculous things in my own life with family members, with friends. And just recently, I have been doing this, imagining myself standing out in front of myself and saying that to myself. It's the ultimate self-love. I know, Dr. Clint had said that to me in my pulse reading, and it didn't click. And for some reason, it just clicked. Anyway, I hope that helps.
Thank you, Jana. I will try it because the person lives in my home, so it's a bit difficult, I will certainly try that. Thank you.
I think those are the most difficult things when we have someone, a really close loved one, is when it becomes so deep and personal for us. And Dr. Naram also talked about, there's the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force a horse to drink. And he said, yeah, but sometimes you can salt the hay. So you can do those extra little bits. But I think once again, it has to be coming from love. It can't be coming from, I know what you need to do. You need to do the marma, or you need to do this. If that's helpful, it still has, it's a fine balance, because sometimes with love, we can teach people, but it has to really, really be from that pure spirit of love, and when you feel, that it's the time. But I think it's a really hard balance to say, hey, I'm just going to show love. And sometimes when it's someone that we're living with, there's someone that's close, things get personal. It can be so hard to not react. But if you can just keep that perspective of love and keep in mind the things that you want with love guiding, I think that's where we can have some help. And I really believe that miracles can happen. Last week in the chat, Anne was talking about an experience with some of her family where she normally would have said something, didn't, and then this person sort of came around on their own. And sometimes you'll see these miracles where just things happen around us that we weren't expecting. And when we force the issue too much, sometimes that's not the answer. The answer is to just double down on the love.
Very well said, Nick. Very well said.
These are such great elucidations on the 6 principles in the ancient healing. And
yes,
Nick, your story is so compelling and just inspiring. So thank you so much.
And I also want to say that with the love, what I have recognized is with all my journey, Jenna, you nailed it down, because when we start expecting love from others, then that's where the disappointment comes. But when we start loving ourselves, that's when everything resolves, because our expectation with the world can be whatever. But if that person is not feeling loved, he or she is not going to give you love. In that moment, you can fight, we can do marmas, we can do whatever, but that is not going to help us a bit. But how would you love ourselves in the moment? And once we start realizing that, I think everything unfolds in such a way that because now we have that love in our heart, I'm like ready to just give it out with no outcomes, period. Just give pure love. I realized this on my journey. And when I realized this, I think everything started unfolding in such a way that I thought that the people around me were so stubborn and arrogant, but it was me all along. And when I realized that, I think everything changed, because nothing is of that ego or nothing is of arrogant around me. It's just simply pure love of giving. And that's when the journey becomes so beautiful, that just give with no expectations. And when we give with full heart, I think everything on the other end is just, it actually, it has helped me relieve all my mental traumas, my imprints. I'm still going through, but I'm accepting the way it is, the way I am. Because all I've learned is that in my best moment, I just have to be best, because God has created me, my best version. There is no other Nina on the world that can be me. And if God has created me the way I am, and the way I accept myself, the way I am, I'm a beautiful being of God. I'm that love that He has put me on this earth to be who I am. And when I started accepting this, my health changed. People around me changed. The journey of my life changed. And I'm learning to be who I am, the way I am, the beautiful child of God that I am on this earth, and just seizing the moment of now and present. And that's how I started unfolding my journey. And this is a beautiful place of love every Sunday when we share our love with each other. And this actually helps us transform more, take us to the next level. So
it's so inspiring what you say, Nina, because you radiate that love that you are. It's so perceptible. Yeah.
To be on the same line of thinking, to be practical about it. In my case, what is happening is that you give, and it is in the family, or it is, how should I say, I brought it in the family. And what happens at one point, you push, but you realize that the other person doesn't want it, doesn't accept it. And you have to do what in your mind don't want to do, and that is called tough love. And you just let go. And many times I try to help people, and what happens is, they're not ready for the help. And I go kind of like, that picture, with the steps, on the beach. And I realize that many times I want to help somebody. I carry the person, I do all the carrying, and they don't do anything. And I went in a different direction. I said, look, I have a solution for you, where this is an idea, where you should be going and stuff. And what they do, they just like ignore it. I said, come back to me if you need this.
Yeah,
And that separates, a lot of stuff, instead of me concentrating on somebody that does not want it, I work with somebody that comes back to me and says, you have something of value, and I like to know more about it. So that makes you practical, because we are so determined to help anybody, and everybody's in front of us. But the fact is, that not everybody and anybody is where we're at, and not to be arrogant about it, is to be practical about it.
Yes.
Because many times in life I found out, let's go exaggerate, but you find the cure for cancer, and you go, I want to tell the whole planet, how to do this.
Yeah.
And they're not ready for you. They're absolutely so not ready for it, to the point, that it goes right over their head. Oh no, what I'm doing is the right thing. Okay, then, just do your thing.
Elio, you are bringing up such a great point, because, many of us in this community we want to serve, and we are very strong givers. We just give. And we want to give everything that we have learned that has worked for us. And what we don't realize is what you were saying, Elio, is that sometimes those people don't want to receive the gift. You know, it's not something that they want and they desire. And it's such a profound thing that you just said. And so, you know, I remember a story that it was actually Tony Liston. I think it's Liston. Can't remember his last name. He's Dr. Clint's brother, Gerald, has a business partner. His name is Tony. And he was in a lot of pain and, you know, spent a lot of time with Dr. Clint. And they would hike together and motorcycle together and go on all these adventures. And one time he was just in this Tony was in this excruciating amount of pain. And, you know, Dr. Clint didn't say, you know, hey, I've got this to help you. I've got this to help you. You know, he supported him with where he was in his suffering. And then another moment, you know, weeks down the line or months down the line, Tony came to Clint and said, do you think that your Marma thing could help me? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, why didn't you suggest that? And he says, well, I was waiting for you to ask. So a lot of times we have to ask for that help, you know, because when a person is asking for the help, they're ready, they're ripe. And sometimes we're trying to force it on them and they're not ready. And so we have to allow them to be where they are. And like I said before, we set the boundary. We don't have to be walked on, you know, but we don't have to force either. So.
Jana, can I add one more thing here too? I was just thinking about this, and one of the things that Dr. Clint talks about is how this is contagious healing and contagious love. And so when it comes to somebody else, like, you cannot force them. Like I said, you can't force them to drink. Maybe you can salt the hay a little, but you can't force them. But the thing that we can do is that we can focus on ourselves, and that we can start to learn to love ourselves and to have our own healing. And it doesn't just have to be physical healing. It's, you know, healing in every aspect, so that we can become a greater force for good and for love in the world. And as we do that, as we become this really bright light, like Dr. Clint has just become this loving force. When you're with him, you can just feel his presence. When you become like that, then other people can't help but notice, and it gives them the opportunity to decide if they want to make those changes or not. And so as we really focus into love, like Nina said, it starts with love for ourselves and healing for ourselves. That's when it can become contagious. And then when the timing is right, then other people can accept that.
Beautiful.
I'm going to be unmuted here, but I have such a simple solution. This is Vimala. And I know some people who are watching the show today are some of my students, but I say there's one way to learn how to love yourself and others. It's very simple. No matter who you interact with, no matter who it is, interact with that person as though they love you. Doesn't matter whether it's a boss who doesn't like you or your neighbor, your kids. I had 8 children, by the way. But you just interact with them. No matter what they've done or said, knocked over the garbage can, you don't care. You look and say, oh, hi, oh gosh, I had an accident. But be with them as though they love you and appreciate you. It works every time. Anyway, I'd invite everybody on this call today, do that for 1 week every day and see what happens. And it doesn't matter who the person is, they're mean or they don't like it. Interact with that person as though they look them straight in the eye and just say, you know, just, hey, how are you doing? Looking good, as though they love you. And that's where the love comes from. So anyway, just my experience.
So beautiful.
And I would like to find that Forget and Forgive Marma, but I don't think it's in the book. Is it, Jerem?
I'm not sure if it's illustrated in the book, but Jana, any idea where that might be?
I know of a couple of videos, but Vimala, I do have your contact information. I'll go ahead and send it to you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're so welcome.
Great.
And I love the show, and I have to leave right now because it's after 9:30, but it's just such a source of joy to hear everybody exchange their ideas and their thoughts and the big smiles. And Nick, your story really opened my heart. Just thank you, because that's what it's all about. And your story did that. And look at you now. I mean, really. So yeah. I thank you all for being here today, and I have to go. Namaste, namaste. I love you all.
Thank you so much for being here today, Vimala. So beautiful to have you on the call. We'd love it when you're on the call.
Thank you.
Well, you know, the chapter title is that there's modern miracles that, you know, modern medicine can't do, or something like that. I can't remember, but I went and saw my surgeon after this happened because I was preparing to go get back surgery. And he was like, this is not usual. Like, he could not explain what happened, and he was really perplexed. So just to say that, just to go in line with, sometimes Western medicine doesn't know how this works, and it can just be a miracle. It's really impressive, really incredible.
Mm.
And I would add to that, Nick, that even I was actually recommended by the neurosurgeons that I have to go through my back surgery. I had a very similar issue of the sciatic nerve and the nerve tendon, and I refused to do any of those medical or go under the knife. And the first Murma, being skeptic, really changed my back and my strength. And in 3 months, I got the second Murma in January when Dr. Clint was here in Dallas. It completely changed the way I even stand. It changed my health from 7, where I was really even in that pain, to I'm like awesome right now. I go hiking, I go running, I enjoy my day, I seize the moment. And it has not changed me just physically, it has changed me mentally, emotionally, and however I can say. So Murma is one of the good things, but also changing our mindset. First step, changing our mindset to accept what we are, enjoy what we can, and just be in the nature. I started by simply doing that. And I sit on the grass to just enjoy the Mother Nature, just be grounded with the Mother Nature, because I totally feel that I come from this earth and I'm going to go back in this earth. So why not live backwards? I don't know how many life I have. I don't know how many years I have, but why not live backwards and just be and just give out of love? And it has really changed the way I live, the day-to-day healing. And also one thing I want to mention, that because I'm grateful of Dr. Clint's 100 days with a lot of things he has trained us with the ego coming down, with cleaning the toilet. Yes. Secondly there were a lot of other things, but I'm going to go straight to that 1 day of silence. The tantrum I had on that day was a miracle of awakening for me. I just came out of 3 days of silence. Yesterday was my 3rd day. I'm just coming out of that because Dr. Clint inspires me every time. It's like, okay, you did 1 day? Amazing. Let's go for more days. So actually I was scheduled to go next week, but there are a lot of things, event that is coming on next week, and I could not wait to go in that particular event for 5 days. So I decided to do 3 days. And I was actually, after that call with my beautiful family, with Nick and Rochelle and Jerem, I went in silence and I just came out yesterday. So today is the first day when I'm talking, but I feel that I've left the burden, like 50 pounds of my emotional traumas that I've been carrying it for 30 plus years. And it doesn't come to you just by itself. When you put yourself in silence, that's when you are with you. Asking the question, what do you want? And why do you want it? Don't worry about the how part. How automatically folds, the universe folds the how part. But when you know what you want and why do you want it, that answer lies within you. And that only can come you when you are in silence with yourself. So all I'm going to invite you is, don't do 3 days, 4 days. No, I'm not inviting that. Even for that 10, 15 minutes of your day, whether it can be first thing in the morning or before you go to bed, just be with you. Be with you. And just be grateful. This is one more thing I've learned, and I've been doing this practice for years, that when I wake up and before I put my feet on the ground, I ask my God, and I'm just grateful of my breath, of my life, of my family, of the sun that is shining on me, and anything I can be grateful for. And then I put my feet on the ground. Simple gratitude and sitting with myself has transformed my life. I'm inviting you just to do that for 1 day. If it doesn't work, you can put it in the back. But if it works even a little bit, continue on that journey of searching who you are. And once you know who you are, this love automatically flows. It automatically flows.
Wow, Nina. Wow. Your presence and your enthusiasm and your sharing of your life journey with us is medicine in itself for me, and I'm sure for many others. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm grateful of this journey. I'm grateful of this beautiful love people that radiates my life every day. Thank you of all the beautiful souls around me. Thank you. Because in oneness, we are all one. We are all one.
Yes. So moving right along, we've got our wonderful opportunity with a breakout room. And the breakout room for today will give us a chance to get with a few people and talk about one of the questions in the chapter, which is, in the course of your day, what percentage of the time do you think about or become immersed in what you don't want versus how much time and energy you spend on what you do want? And simple practice, but pretty profound. So Cornelia, if you are ready and able, we can start to bring people into breakout rooms, and looks like we'll spend about 7 minutes, I think, if that sounds good. Cornelia, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, I open the rooms now. So if you click on the little window that comes up, and it lets you then join your breakout room.
Great. Thank you, Cornelia. We'll see you on the other side in a few minutes.
So what was the question that we have here in the room? Because
the question, yeah, so the question is from the book on page 50. I'm sorry, not 50, what am I saying? Chapter 9, I just lost the question. And what do you want rather than focusing on what do you not want? Most of the time we spend our time focusing on what do we not want. So what is the thing that we want to focus on? What do we want? And in the actual question is,
yeah, I guess that is definitely one of the most important questions that we can all ask ourselves. And I wish that I had had someone around me when I was going through my health challenge many years ago, when I was suffering from extreme pain, and no one could really help me. And I will realize now, of course, looking back, that for the whole time I was looking for a solution, I was actually, first of all, trying to get away from the pain. And I was focusing actually on the pain all the time, instead of focusing on what I wanted. And even though I had a spontaneous healing then in 1998, it wasn't really until, and I understood how much my mind had played a role in me being in pain. It wasn't until I really read chapter 9 and heard the story of Clint talking about his mom, that when he asked her the very first, what do you want? And her answer was, I don't want to be in pain. And that is exactly how I would have answered that. But this didn't get me anywhere. And this is why I'm saying I wished really I had someone that would have asked me, what would you do if you had no pain? Because that would have opened up my mind to a new possibility, and everything would have changed. And I'm pretty sure I would have been out of pain very, very quickly, because exactly that happened for me in a dance workshop, because suddenly in this dance workshop, I wasn't focusing on the pain and I had a spontaneous remission. And so I so understood this. And when I read that, I was in tears, because I realized how many people are actually suffering unnecessarily because they don't have this question in their lives to really ask, what is it that I want if I out of pain? The next question. And when I spoke to Clint about that, you have this quote in the book of the importance of the questions that you are asking. The quality of your life depends on the questions you are asking. I was actually saying the quality of your life depends on the answer that you give to the question, because I would have answered in the wrong way as well. So that was my big lesson of chapter 9. And I just thought I wanted to share that here.
That is so right, Cornelia. You're speaking my heart, because that's exactly what I felt when I was reading chapter 9. And not just that, when I met Dr. Clint for the first time, because he really, that day, he asked such a serious questions. Besides, what do I want and what do we want? Is like, from the first few questions, I don't know exactly the questions, but how if you start living from backward, or if you have $1 million in your pocket, what would you do? And there are all the sets of questions. They were really awakening questions. And when I was in Utah in October, I didn't even know why I'm going there. I just went there because I felt as an invitation. I normally go to a lot of retreats, but not this kind of retreat. This was the first time in my life that I attended this profound retreat of awakening, because it's very different. Culturally, we are blocked in a block that this is what you do, this is what you don't do. And being raised as an Indian, there are a lot of blocks in our life, which doesn't even allow us to open up, because there's a scarcity that who's going to accept, who's going to be with you. And in that scarcity, we are just putting ourselves in that box that, no, I don't want to even open up, because I don't know, I'm just scared of even opening up. In that situation, when I went to Utah, and when I saw Dr. Clint, and when I saw his first miracle of Marma, and then he did Marma on me, and I came back with just a first healing, which I was still skeptic about. That am I really going to be fine? Because I've been seeing the doctors for 10+ years to just get cured with my back. And I was like, 10 years has not helped me. I've gone through this, I've done this MRI, I went to India to get healed. Those doctors were not able to help me because I was so skeptic about my own self. And when this first Burma came in place, and when I did the diet for the first time, I did lose weight physically, but I also started feeling so much lighter. And I started feeling like day after day, I was feeling so much better, so much better. And actually, when Dr. Clint had planned to come to Dallas in January, I was so looking forward to. Because I knew, even when I was in Utah, that I am there at that time for a miracle. I didn't know what. I had no idea that Dr. Clint would be there, and Dr. Clint is one of the lineage from Dr. Narans. I would call that. And when I was in so much pain, and my pain was 10+, I would say, in 2014, I would say, I was not even able to put on my own pant, could not bend. I was in such a tear that I had to work literally from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Had to come home, cook, clean, and I couldn't even take care of myself. And I was crying, and I was in tears, and I was looking for help. But and I took actually Dr. Naram's appointment. He was there somewhere in New Jersey in 2014 or 15. But I guess you don't take care of yourself. You don't love yourself. I actually canceled that appointment because I thought my work is more important than taking care of me. And then from there on till 2020, 6 years, I suffered more. I literally went from sitting on the floor to sitting on the chair for 2+ years, because there's no way I can sit on the floor. And sitting on the floor is required in my culture, because when we go to our church, we sit on the floor and we pray, because we have to sit crisscross and we have to pray, and it's very difficult. So that was a really good awakening. And then when Dr. Clint came back, I mean, when Dr. Clint had scheduled his Marma in Dallas, I was the first one to sign up, because there's no ifs and no buts. I knew that my second recovery is going to start from here. And then came this beautiful detox, and then beautiful 100 days. This is all a blessing I'm counting in my life that has changed me inside out. And even now,
I mean, it's really about for me that, and we are just going through the 100-day course at the moment. And on the call that we had over the weekend on Friday and yesterday, Saturday in the groups, we were really talking about what it is, how important it is to really imagine for us even what is the health that how does it look like for us? And because we are often, yeah, I want to feel better, or I want to kind of, as we are talking about Ayurveda, yeah, I want to have my my dhatus nourished, or I want to have my doshas balanced. But in the end, that is not really something that the mind can really work with, because what the mind needs is really a very clear picture, like Dr. Raram's mother said, I want to walk the Himalayas. So she had a goal, she had a picture in her mind what she wanted. And so when we are actually dealing with any kind of illness, disease, or feeling of not being well, that we really start to think, what is it that we actually want to do once the pain is gone? What do we want to do how do we want to feel? How is my life different from it is right now? So our mind and our conscious mind can actually then have something to work with and go towards to. And I guess that is something that we unfortunately are not taught in the Western world on when it comes to health and healing, that actually how big a part our mind plays when it comes to healing, and that we really should use the power of our mind to get our health back. And that was definitely one of the things that came back again and again when I was reading chapter 9 in the book. And so everyone who hasn't read the book or listened to the audio, I can only invite you to get the book or get the audio. It's available as an audible recording. Just get it and read it. It will change your life. It has changed so many people's lives, as you have heard today as well. So people are actually just coming back, which is great, out of the breakout rooms.
Yeah, and let's take a couple of sharings, because people have shared their heart in the breakout rooms. So is anyone ready to share not just what you want, but it is beyond that, right? When I have that, what will I do? Rather than focusing on negative, how would we focus on positive? Anyone who wants to share that, you can raise your hand or
Nina,
unmute
can you
yourself.
repeat the question again?
So the question is, what % of time do you focus on what you don't want versus what do you want?
Thank you. Do you mind, Esther Francis, do you mind if I call you out and just have you share what I delighted in our breakout session? Oh my gosh.
I'm delighted to share this. What I shared is that one of the practices that I do that has definitely transformed my life. And I recommend this for everybody, but particularly those of us that are so empathetic to any suffering going on anywhere in the world. And what it is it's the sponge in the kitchen sink. If the sponge is full, it can't absorb any of the grease, the ook, the grungy, ucky stuff. So those first morning awareness, what I do is I regard myself as a sponge. And I fill myself with the nectar of gratitude, of appreciation, of love. I call in all my mentors. And particularly, I ground myself like a tree. The sap comes from the essence that I am, whatever we call the divinity that is our essence. That's whatever word you may have for it. I call that in, and that sap then fills all the layers of my body, my physical, my mental, my spiritual, my feeling, my emotional. And then as I go through the day, I can be exposed to all kinds of news that's upsetting. And I can be exposed to it, be aware of it, and yet not take it in, because I have the insulation of already soaking my sponge into that sacred sap and filling it with what I desire, what I want to experience throughout the day. And then it becomes like a wood stove, radiating that energy out into the atmosphere instead of me drawing in like a dry sponge, whatever I'm exposed to. So yeah, that's my,
I love it. I just told her that that is her secret sauce because she's always so full of enthusiasm and so full of love. That is her secret sauce. And we just got privy to it. I'm so excited. The
So I invite you all to be, we can be sponges together and see what we can see in the ocean of being from that perspective.
So beautiful.
Thank you for the invitation to share that. Blessings and love to you all. Love this community.
Love to you too. Let's take a couple of more.
Yes. So thank you all so much for this beautiful, beautiful call. And we've got another special treat of music coming up. Somebody knew the details of this better than I did. It was about a Nepalese nun sharing.
Yes, it is actually, and I have to actually give credit to someone, but I actually don't even know who it is because that showed up in our in one of our WhatsApp groups, and someone shared the link to this piece of music, and it is about a Nepalese nun who had a very, very difficult, very early childhood, and she was finally brought to this monastery, and where she suddenly was surrounded by monks and people that loved her, and she has this amazing gift of her voice, and she was always singing in the temple and or in the monastery. And there was one day there was a producer from America who heard her sing, and he had now brought her to America, and she has done some recordings, and her voice is just, it touched my heart. And when we were kind of talking about what music to play today, also in remembrance of Danny, what she's going through for the her transition, and I just feel that this music is, if you just close your eyes, even though I will do some spotlighting, if you just close your eyes and listen to the sound, it's a language that I guess most of us don't speak, and just let that sound open your heart and let it sink in. It's for me, it was really a revelation hearing her sing. And so I would like to share that experience with you today. And I'm sharing that now. And you can actually, it's a little video as well. So maybe I might even just play also the video and then do a bit of spotlighting.
Mahaya सत्वाय महाकरुणिकाय अद्याय धाम दरा धीरे धीरे दुरु दुरु इटे वोटे चले चले राजाने राजाले कुसुमे कुसुमावारे इले इले चित्ते ज्वालायं हापानयसो
So beautiful. Thank you, Cornelia, for bringing that, and Carol Ray for suggesting it as well. And thank you, Nina, for your beautiful co-hosting, and Nick co-hosting, and Jana co-hosting, and Cornelia. And thank you all so much for being here on our Sunday Miracle Inspiration Call. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful for this opportunity. And Nina, would you like to lead us in our traditional ending?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to. Actually, I'm honored. I would really, let's just open our heart, be grateful of this beautiful offering, of this lineage that we have. There's so many beautiful people on our call, and the transformation that we can make just by opening our heart, just by sharing that love. So let's just say that I love you and I'm with you. Let's open our videos, let's unmute ourselves and just share our love to everyone, saying that I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you. Here's to Francis. Love you, Prophet. Love you, Luke. Thank you, Marcia. Love you, Nick.
I love you and I'm with
Love
you.
Miriam, love you, Paris. Love you, Vimala. Love you, JC. Love you, Patricia. Love you, Linda. Love you, Ashley. Love you, Jana. Love you, Jill.
You and I'm with love you.
love you.
And I'm with you.
Laura,
Love you, Sandy, when I'm with you.
love you, Miriam, love you, Stan, love you, Gail, love you, Harvey, love you, Marie, love you, Cynthia, love you, Valerie. Oh, Nina, you're muted.
I was just saying that thank you so very much to everyone who attended this call, being part of this love journey, and very grateful that you spent your precious day and your precious hour where you couldn't do anything that at this time, but you are with us, sharing your love and compassion. So thank you very much. Jana, back to you.
I love you and I'm with you. We'll see you guys next week.
I love you and I'm with you. Thank you all.